Hi and welcome to day number 9 of the 12 Days to Clarity. Today we're going to be talking about two very special visualizations, the waterfall chart and small multiples. They both offer great breakdowns of our data, but the waterfall chart is better for explaining how we got from point A to point B, and the small multiples are mostly used to really show patterns across different segments. All in all, they really help us interpret complex breakdowns into digestible stories. So welcome to Power BI. This time we're not starting with a blank canvas, but we actually have a native waterfall chart already created. Now, why I decided to create this waterfall chart before we start the video is because it's really complicated. To create this waterfall chart, I had to create a new table and some measures to help me even make this waterfall chart. The biggest problem is that the waterfall chart in native visuals does not recognize the start point and the end point. So it usually just wants to show the increases and the decreases and then the total in the end. Now let's see if I dare create a waterfall chart with Zebra BI. So we're going to use Zebra BI charts. There we go. Let's move them here and make them a bit bigger so we can see better. We're going to build it like we do every time. Actuals into values, plan into plan, and we are going to put our business units in our categories. There we go. That's everything I needed to do. Zebra BI completely understood that my plan is my starting point, my actual is my end point, and it showed the variances, the absolute variances and the relative variances of every one of my business units. Now we do have a little bit of a problem. The problem is that our actual and our plan are quite large, so we have a hard time seeing our actual differences. And this is actually the point of a waterfall chart, right? We want to understand how each category impacts our movement from beginning to end. Well, with Zebra BI, I can solve this problem really easy with one single click. If I go to my totals and click, I can break the axis. With breaking the axis, I get this nice visualization to tell me that, hey, you broke the axis, so the scaling is now off. But I now see my variances very clearly. I can understand that baby care has gone down, wearables have gone up, and I can also understand, let's say, oral care, which before was completely invisible. With the native visualization, I can do no such thing, and it simply stays the way that you see it here. If I would want to make any changes, I would have to go and make a lot of changes in docs and in my data model to be able to come even close to something that you see here. Now, one very important thing is that I would pretty much never make a waterfall chart like this, because usually the horizontal waterfall charts are specifically for time series. Here we have something that follows a certain structure, a little bit different. So what I would actually have to do, I would have to turn this waterfall chart to the side and make it a vertical chart. And the nice thing about Zebra BI is that I can do this, no problem. I have to only go here into the format visual, and under chart setting, I can find my show vertical axis option. I click it to on, and there we go. Now, what we did with this single click is we made our categories readable. Not like this in a weird slanted way where they're hard to read, but of course nice and straight like we're used to, like we would like to read our data. And now we can even make it a little bit smaller. Now let's move on to small multiples. I'll make the waterfall chart here a little bit smaller, well, or maybe completely unusable, and I'll make the Zebra BI chart a little bit smaller as well, just like this. Okay. This one is barely readable as well, but I think it is better than this one, yeah? All right, so I'll build a clustered column chart. There we go. Yeah, we'll go into the clustered column chart. Here we have a structured visualization, but now with small multiples, we can even include of course, more of a breakdown. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to take our actuals, put it onto our y-axis, our plan as well, of course. And then what I would like to do is break this down by months. So we also get this time period, this time series here, so we kind of understand what our trends are. Well, good luck if we can do this with this chart, but well, we'll try. Okay, and now we have the small multiples here, just like I said, and then here is where we would actually put our business unit. We'd put our business unit in here, and well, we actually get small multiples. Okay, now I do have a little bit of a problem with them because they are not, I mean, they seem to be scaled correctly, but one thing they are not is they are not sorted in the right way. So the thing is that you can see that wearables here are actually larger than skincare, but they are at the very end. Well, this seems a bit odd, and there's probably something we could do, but you know, I'd like to have these kind of logical things already in my visualizations. Okay, so I'll make this a little bit smaller again, and let's see what we can do with Zebra BI. Okay, now with Zebra BI, I actually don't need to start with another visualization. We can start with what we already have. Okay, so like this. But now I would actually like to turn my chart back around. Okay, so I'll turn my chart back around. I'll go to chart settings and I'll show the vertical axis. I'll turn it off. And now I will take my business unit, put it into groups like that. And I've created my small multiples in seconds. Now, if I want the same breakdown like I had here with months, I can use my category field here and take my months, put them there, and look at that. Now we get small multiples, and of course, even better than with the Power BI version. Maybe let me just move it here a little bit and make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Of course, it's completely responsive, yeah. Now we get our beautiful small multiples created, and the best thing is they are scaled, so we know exactly that our baby care is bigger than wearables, and they're also sorted in the right way. Again, we have the ability to break the axis to see the what we want to see in the waterfall chart, the different contributions from different months, but we also see the whole picture, the whole trend for all of them. Now I can also make them take up a little bit less space if I go here to the difference highlight and turn it off. This way, the difference highlight, this was the difference between our plan and our actual altogether, is not going to show. But now I really have a very compact, very data dense view where I can see quite a lot of my data. Look, I can see that baby care is the biggest, the wearables is second, or maybe if I unbreak the axis, we can actually see this better, that all of them are nice and scaled. So 2.5, 2.2 million, 800K, it all makes sense. Now, if I would like to make this a little bit more clear, what I could do is break the axis again, just so we can see the variances a little bit better. And then I can also use the Zebra BI top N function, where I could only focus on my most important categories. And if you don't know what that is, you've probably missed a video from day number 7. So I would ask you to go back and check it out. It's a built-in Pareto rule for your Zebra BI visualizations, ensuring that you always know that when you make decisions, you'll make decisions on the actual categories and the actual data that actually makes an impact. The waterfall and the small multiples visualizations are so useful for any report. They really make the data stand out very clear and understandable. That's why we use them in pretty much every one of our templates. You will find them in our portfolio analysis template. You will find them in our cost management Power BI template. And of course, you will find them used in our price volume mix analysis as well. Tell us in the comments where waterfall charts or small multiples could really benefit you in your reporting or reading your reports. And hey, we can actually help you out right now. If you'd like to see how your data would look in a waterfall or a small multiples visualization, go down into the description below and start your free trial of Zebra BI. Thank you, Data Wizards, for watching. This was day number 9 of the 12 days to clarity. We're only 3 days away, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.